Hi, my name's Rico, and today I'm going to tell you about how my wife Olya and I got diving certified in Puerto Rico, with a quick Q&A at the end. So let's dive in. Getting certified has been on our bucket list ever since we first tried diving. And while it can be done at your local body of water, it's a much cooler experience to do it at a destination known for rich marine life.
So we thought, what better place than somewhere that's not only known for great diving, but also holds a special place in our hearts, Culebra, Puerto Rico.
If you don't know, PADI stands for Professional Association of Diving Instructors, and they're one of the bodies that certifies you for scuba diving. Open Water Diver is their foundational course that teaches you the basics of equipment, air management, buoyancy control, and emergency situation responses. Many dives require certification, so aside from the skills and experience, it also gives you the ability to purchase scuba gear and fill your tanks at dive shops, as well as dive on your own within the parameters of your training.
To get certified, you have to study and pass the theoretical part, you have to practice and demonstrate the confined water skills, and you have to complete 4 open water dives.
The theoretical portion can be done online or on the PADI mobile app. Just go to PADI.com and pay for your course to start learning.
Don't forget to search for promo codes. We got 20% off that way. We read somewhere that it takes about 7 hours to complete the theoretical part. This was not our experience at all. Start studying several days in advance. For us, it came out to be over 10 hours, and we finished our exams the night before our first class. Not recommended, especially if you go into a place with a spotty internet connection.
People often do the confined water training in the city that they live in, and then get a referral to complete the dives at a destination. We chose to do it all in Puerto Rico, and man, what a great decision that turned out to be. Since the scuba shop we booked didn't have a pool, we had to do our confined water training in a pool-like environment, which for us ended up being a small islet off of the coast of Culebra.
It was in a beautiful bay that could easily be in an ad for Caribbean paradise vacation, and we were all alone.
Our first day was mostly skills training. We learned how to assemble our gear, put it on, enter the water, and get in and out of our gear at the surface and underwater. We went over using each other's alternate air sources and practiced other emergency situation responses, including flooding and clearing masks, everyone's favorite, swimming underwater without them, and a few others, like ascent and descent, as well as buoyancy control.
We found that doing the confined water part of the certification out at sea instead of a pool was a really rewarding and beautiful experience. So when you're picking a dive shop, check where they do their confined water skills portion, and maybe you can have a similar experience. We think that doing your training in an actual diving environment makes you feel a little more prepared. But if this thought makes you a little bit anxious, maybe a pool is a better way to ease into it.
We completed the 4 open water dives over the next 2 days at Cayo de Luis Pena and Carlos Rosario Beach. We got to enjoy our newfound confidence underwater while seeing a bunch of marine life. We were lucky enough to see some stingrays, jellyfish, and a pufferfish, along with all the other beautiful reef fish. It was awesome.
This level of certification allows for depths of 60 feet, and we went down to roughly 40 feet.
While this was our first certification, these were not our first dives. The knowledge and awareness gained during this course definitely made diving even more enjoyable and relaxing. Diving is an amazing experience, different from anything you've ever felt at the surface. And you don't have to commit to a certification to see if it's for you. You can do what's called a Discover Scuba Dive to try it out. It requires no prior experience besides the ability to swim.
If you are even remotely interested, we highly recommend you give it a try.
And getting certified is a great way to feel more confident, knowledgeable, and aware in the underwater world.
With a little flexibility, patience, and shopping around, you can find a certification experience that works for you.
So now let's get into some of the questions that we get asked a lot about this whole scuba experience. The first question we often get is it difficult? Well, I feel pretty comfortable in the water, so a lot of the skills came naturally to me. A big portion of it will depend on how comfortable you feel in the water, but also some of the skills are kind of difficult. The mask removal, for example.
Yeah, that's something that I had trouble with. I feel like I was pretty okay with all the other skills, but one of the things that most people have trouble with is removing your mask completely underwater, staying without the mask for a while, putting it back on, and clearing. And that last bit is what was giving me trouble and must have taken me 6 times, but my instructors stuck with me, and your instructors will want to make sure that you are comfortable with the skill, however many times it takes to try it.
How much did it cost?
So we paid about $550 for both the theoretical and the practical part. But depending on what kind of destination you're doing it, right? When you're doing it in Mexico or Thailand, the price is going to be different than if you're doing it in the US. It can run anywhere between $400 and $700 for the regular experience.
What's the point of getting it?
Well, one, the skills and the experience and the knowledge that you get, you truly do feel more prepared and more aware and less clueless when you're underwater after you actually learn the theory of it. Also, many cool dives require that you are a certified diver. They will not take novices on those dives.
So those are the main questions we get, but if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section and we'll answer them as best as we can. See you next time.